Hi everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the SCU show. I'm your host SCU. Have a great show for you this week. A lot of good stuff in sports. Obviously the NBA bubble's heating up with the Suns, the Suns, Spurs, Blazers, and Grizzlies all fighting for that last spot in the West. All of them are either tied or right behind one another. Meanwhile in the East, well, it's not as exciting. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I want to start with talking about what's going on in college football because it's absolutely just heartbreaking for these athletes. So the Big Ten and the Pac-12 have both postponed their football seasons, and that means Justin Fields and Tanner Morgan, two of the top quarterbacks in college football right now, both in the Big Ten, are not going to be able to live out their dreams. And I speak of that from personal experience. I know what it's like to have made a plan. If I were an athlete, if I had made this plan, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go play college football 2020. By 2021, I'll be in the NFL, and everything is going to go great. Now, for guys that are in the Big Ten or Pac-12 who are looking to go to the NFL, it kind of just ruins everything for them. You know, it's absolutely heartbreaking. I don't like it at all. And then there's the take that everyone's talking, oh, it's safer for them to go back home. No, it's not. It's absolutely not safe for them to go back home. You know why? Because at least on campus they have medical professionals to take care of them. They have testing constantly. It's kind of like the bubble, where everybody will be together, and at their campuses or whatever the case is. Sending these guys home, they have no testing. They're still at risk regardless. No, even if you are at campus and you are testing, whether you're there doing that or whether you're at home, you're still at risk. So that take is just absolutely redundant. It's ridiculous. I don't get it, and I just absolutely disagree with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 saying that I don't want to play football this year because of the virus. Now, you guys just go home and be with your families and all that. They're still at risk. The only thing that's going to happen now is that these players are going to lose out on an opportunity to show NFL scouts and GMs and coaches what they're really made of. You know, Justin Fields, he's supposed to be the second overall pick next year to whoever. Now he's not going to be able to show what he's really made of. Because last year he had a good season. He's not going to be able to show that again this year because, obviously, Big Ten canceled their season. No saying any guys in the Pac-12. I don't really know any Pac-12 guys, but same with them. If they're big guys, big names in the Pac-12 that were looking to go to the NFL, now they have nothing to show for it really. Oh, they played last year. Yeah, that's great, but they could have shown more this year. This is why people do what they do, especially like sportscasters. This is why we have reels. This is why we go to games. Now, without any games, it's kind of like, guys like me who are looking to make that big jump. We really can't until next year. Our dreams are being put on halt, just like these athletes. And it's a big thing with the NCAA in general. They definitely need a type of leadership. Me and my guys inside the arena, we talk about this in our group chat. There's no leadership in the NCAA. There's never been leadership in the NCAA. That needs to change. That absolutely needs to change. There has to be leadership within the NCAA. They need one leader, not 5 different leaders or 70 million different leaders or whatever the case is. Get your bleep together, NCAA, because you guys are ruining college football for not just the athletes. Of course, Justin Fields and Tanner Morgan and everybody else who's looking to go to the NFL. You're not just ruining it for them. You're also ruining it for the fans. And that's a big deal. Because you guys are now losing big money when you had the opportunity. It was there. You were able to test. And you decided, nah, we're good. So I definitely disagree with what the NCAA is doing. I think it's wrong. Well, not the NCAA, the Big Ten and the Pac-12, because the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 will all play this year. So kudos to them. At least we get to see Trevor Lawrence. That's the big thing. If Trevor Lawrence wasn't able to play, that would have been a huge problem. For at least, I know I would have a big problem with it if we couldn't see Trevor Lawrence play. But a lot of fans would have been pissed off if no Trevor Lawrence this college football season. And as for the guys that are going to the NFL, at this point, I'd share your frustration. I would. But at the same time, you got to think about it this way. Now you have more time to prepare for the NFL draft, so just do that. Get some throws in elsewhere to show how your arm talent or whatever the case is, whatever position you play. Show these teams, show these scouts, show these coaches you're ready for the NFL in 2021. All right, let's get to the NBA now because a lot of good stuff here. The NBA, so like I said, the West. There are 4 teams looking for that final playoff spot. 4. They're all tied or within a half a game of another, and there's like 2 games left here in the bubble. As for the East, however, well, there's nothing going on there. The East is just crap. The East is really crappy right now. Every team is locked in a playoff spot. Their team is pretty much locked in their playoff position. The only team really is the Sixers. Whether they be the 4 or the 5, they're going to be the 5 because they have no Joel Embiid, no Ben Simmons, and that's going to be a really crappy series, which I'll get to in a moment. But it looks like right now the Bucks will play the Magic in the first round. That's a sweep. Milwaukee is way too good to not sweep the Magic. The Magic are, I think, the one of 2 teams, the Nets too, that are under 500 and still a playoff team. Yeah. Good luck, Nets. Not Nets, Magic, excuse me. Good luck, Nets, as you get swept by the Bucks this year. It looks like the 2-7 would be the Raptors and the Nets. Now, this is interesting. This is a hell of a series because everyone's looking at the Nets. They have no Kyrie, no KD, no big stars. And here they are winning games. How are they doing it? I personally have no idea how they're doing it, but they're making it happen. And that's why, and obviously I love Toronto. I think they're a finals contender. That's why I have this series going about 6. I'll pick the Raptors, of course, because I think Toronto's the better team. Even without Kawhi Leonard, I've been saying this for a long time. Even without Kawhi Leonard, that's a very talented team up there in Toronto. And they're going to show it when they beat the Nets in the first round. It's going to be very cool, very good matchup, though. We have it's 3-6. 3-6. Okay, so maybe the Sixers will get the 6 seed. All right. Anyway, Boston will sweep Philly again. I think it was 2018. The Celtics swept the Sixers. They had a buzzer beater to end the sweep. It was crazy. I'm just thinking about that, but that's a sweep. And then the 4-5, I had the Heat over the Pacers in 6. The Pacers are doing well. They have T.J. Warren, who's really done well in the bubble. When the Pacers are winning, he's averaged over 30 points a game. They didn't win, they lost. They're 2 games so far. He scored 12 and 16, so he still scored double figures in every game this year. But the Heat are a really good team with Jimmy Butler and what they have around them. That future is bright for Miami, and that's going to show the first round when they beat the Pacers in 6 games. There you have it. There's your first round preview. Because by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be time for the playoffs to begin anyway. Or before I record the next podcast. It'll be playoff time. We'll have those. All right, here we go. This is going to be fun because I still get heat for what I said last year about the XFL. People said, "Oh, you're an idiot. The biggest idiot." Like this got a whole lot of heat for what I said about the XFL. How Vince McMahon was a failure because the thing was with Vince McMahon, in 2001 they played a whole season, and then they left. And then they were going to 2018. They were like, "Oh, we're going to come back. We're going to be stronger than ever." They folded after 5 weeks. Oh, but there's a virus, though. Now, the coronavirus kept them from playing in 2020. They could have kept playing in 2021, but instead, Vince McMahon shut it down after 5 weeks. That's a failure. Come on, people. But, hey, good news, XLVIII fans. The Rock is now the part owner, along with his ex-wife and a few others. They bought the XFL for $15 million, and they're going to be looking to bring it back next year or in 2022. That has yet to be determined. What I am determining, though, I don't know. I'm still skeptical. How can I not be skeptical about the XFL yet? First of all, I was told by somebody who was pretty knowledgeable about a lot of things, especially when it comes to stuff like that, financial stuff in sports. The highest bid was going to be $60 million. That I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. $60 million for a league such as the XFL. No, it was bought for $15 million. That just seems a little sketchy to me, a little low. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think that's different. It's weird that it was only bought for $15 million. I'm not saying it's gonna fail. I'm not gonna say it's gonna fail. They express third time's the charm, right? I'm hoping that third time's the charm here for The Rock and for the XFL. I hope they make it work. I really do. Last year we watched games. It was fun. It was exciting. They were exciting games. I just don't know if it's going to be, as exciting. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm hoping so. I'm rooting for them to work. I just don't know because I'm a little skeptical after seeing what happened the last 2 times the XFL tried to come back. I bet I'll get all the heat for this too. I look forward to seeing what you guys say about that on Facebook, especially the Facebook people. Good lord, the Facebook people, they made me. I'm a meme now. Apparently, I'm a meme. Like the Facebook guys, they made me a meme that I said the XFL was done, which is not true. Well, it was true. The XFL was done. They folded. But anyway, go check that. It's in the XFL fan zone Facebook group if you want, if you're interested. All right. This week's preview comes from the NFC. We get to the NFC now, the NFC North. Now, the NFC North has a lot of talent. You know, the Lions have a lot of talent. The Vikings have a lot of talent. The Packers, and the Bears got... Oh, yeah, well, let's get into it before I go roll. Everybody's talking about Green Bay. Oh, Green Bay is going to be so successful. They went 13-3 last year. They went to the NFC Championship game. They also had a lot of key pieces on defense. They also had more than just Devontae Adams. That's all they have now. Now, I'm a big fan of Devontae Adams. Don't get me wrong. I think Devontae Adams is going to surpass 2,000 receiving yards this season because Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing to him so many damn times. Because he's the only one Aaron Rodgers has to throw to. He has nobody else to throw to. However, unfortunately for the Packers, I don't think they're better, but that's not a playoff team. Again, the only thing they have on offense, besides Aaron Rodgers, is Devontae Adams. Yes, they drafted a running back out of Boston College, but who knows? You know, nobody really knows what's going to happen with that. They do have Aaron Jones. I did forget Aaron Jones. Pardon me. They do have they have a talented offense, but I think that there's something. They need more receivers. You know, everyone's talking about how the Packers need receivers. They didn't draft it in the draft. They picked up a quarterback to replace Aaron Rodgers. It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. The Packers are going to miss the playoffs. Just simple as that. As for their division rival, the Vikings, I had the Vikings winning the North because the Vikings did a very good job at what the Packers did not do. They replaced everybody very fast. Stephon Diggs went to Buffalo. Oh, here's Justin Jefferson out of LSU. We lost Xavier Rhodes to the Colts. Oh, here's Jeff Gladney out of TCU, first-round pick. Now they have Danielle Hunter. They have a lot of great pieces on that defense. Danielle Hunter being one of them. No, they still have a lot of great pieces. So that is what I'm saying. Anyway, so really, for the Vikings, and I do think it'll work out, it all falls on the offense, and that comes with Kirk Cousins, who's in a contract year, by the way, and his receiver, Adam Thielen, who's now kind of like when AB left the Steelers, you were thinking, hey, you know, Juju has to be number one. Now that Stephon Diggs is gone, Adam Thielen has to be that number one in Minnesota. If he is, the Vikings will win the NFC North, and I think him and Kirk Cousins will make it work because they kind of need to. Detroit, they're Detroit, yes. They're pretty much a snake-bitten franchise, basically. However, they are still a very talented team. I mean, you know, Matt Stafford throws over 5,000 yards every season, or close to it, whatever the case is. They have Kenny Galladay Jr., they have Marvin Jones. They just added Jamie Collins on defense. They just added DeAndre Swift in the draft. That's probably the second best running back in the draft, behind Jonathan Taylor, of course. But, I mean, like I said, they're still Detroit. Detroit going to Detroit, right? I think the Lions missed the playoffs. They've been 5 games, maybe 6 if they're lucky. And that's it for Matt Patricia. He's going to get fired come next year. They'll be done. And then there's Chicago. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm the only one, it appears, I'm the only one that believes in Nick Foles. And I will take this to I say this all the time. I will take this to my grave. Nick Foles is not a bad quarterback. Carson Wentz led him to the Super Bowl. Well, let's think about this. I say this all the time. 2013, Nick Foles led the Eagles. 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. Next year, they were 6-2 and before he broke his collarbone. He didn't start Kansas City. He was under Jeff Fisher, the worst coach ever in L.A. or St. Louis with the Rams. He was the third string under a terrible coach. He led the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Took over Carson Wentz. After he started 5-6, they went 6-1, went to the playoffs. Lost to the Saints on an Alshon Jeffrey mistake. Went to the Jaguars, got hurt game 1. Had one bad game, and got released because the Jaguars are a dumpster fire. And now he's in Chicago, where if he does not beat out Mitch Trubisky, that's going to be a big problem in Chicago and around the NFL. Everyone's going to be like, what? You know, because let's be honest, Mr. Trubisky is not your greatest quarterback in Bears history. Nick Foles, I'm the only one saying this. I'm the only one thinking this because everybody else thinks I'm nuts about it. Nick Foles is going to have the Bears in playoff contention come week 16 or 17. I don't know if they'll be a playoff team. Maybe they'll be the wild card team. It is a tough conference this year with Tom Brady there and the NFC South and all that. We'll get to them next week. But I will not be surprised if Nick Foles does so well for Chicago that they're 7-8 headed to the final week of the year, looking for that final playoff spot with a few more teams. I'm just saying, I would not be surprised. I know everyone's thinking, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. I'm the only one that believes in Nick Foles. And I'm still going to continue to. I still root for him. And it's going to be good. Going to be a good season for, well, maybe not a good season for Chicago, but it's going to be a good season for Nick Foles either way. And with that, we are done. There's been another great episode of the SCU Show, episode number 48. Next week, we do a show. The week after, we take the week off because September 1st, it is all but official. I am moving into a new place. I will have a new studio. Everything's going to be, it's going to be great. I'm sorry. I just checked out this place last week or a few days ago. I love it. I can't wait to move in. It's going to be great. Things are picking up, hopefully. We'll see what happens. But that's it for this episode number 48 of the SCU Show. Thanks for watching. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.